Hey everybody, Frank the Tank here, back here on MLB The Show 15, and today we're going to start our Los Angeles Angels fantasy draft franchise. I let you guys vote in the one video, and you voted for the Angels and Red Sox. Angels were a team I wanted to have the draft with because I wanted to rebuild the Red Sox. So we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to jump right into this here. Since it is a fantasy draft, I am going to turn budgets off so we can get, whoever we want. We don't have to worry about like a salary or anything. And it doesn't look like we have too good of a pick here, but we'll take 17. A lot of good guys open. I don't know if I want to jump into pitching and grab Jose Fernandez first, or go with a good young bat and take Stanton. For those of you who will ask, I am using the Operation Sports Forum trade deadline update rosters, but I think I'm going to go with Stanton first. Always a good player to play with, hits for a decent average, tons of power. So second round, we'll try to look at some pitching here. Jordan Zimmerman, a good option. Dallas Keuchel having a great season for the Houston Astros. So is Jake Arrieta, Shelby Miller. I'm going to see if there's any position players we can't pass up. More on the younger side. So we're going to try to get some younger players, but I think we're going to go with Steven Strasburg. I know he's injured a lot, but he is one of my favorite players and very young, and he's going to be a good fit for our team. So we'll look through a little more. Noah Syndergaard would be a great pick. I don't know if I want to take him third round, but if he is open next round, we will grab him. Try to look through some more position players. There's not a lot of, it doesn't seem like the positions are as deep as they usually are. But I think we're going to grab Manny Machado to play third base. And like I said, if Syndergaard's still open, we will. Oh, and he was taking 2 picks before us. So we'll take a look around. When I do fantasy drafts, I do like to do a ton of trading. So you guys let me know if the trading is something you want to see. I'll put it all in a video. If not, I can do it off camera and then just make a separate video for it, or just like do the updates in the beginning of the video, like I did for the Red Sox franchise. So you guys let me know what you want to see when it comes to that. And I think we're going to go with Salvador Perez, catcher out of Kansas City. Good young catcher, and he has a really nice contract if you do check him out. $1.4 million over 6 years. Can't really argue too much with that, but we do need another starting pitcher. Colin McHugh is somebody to look at for the Houston Astros. Lance McCullers, another great young Astros pitcher. I don't want to dive that deep yet, so I think we're going to go another position player, and then we'll jump on a pitcher. And I think we're going to take Carlos Correa. 20-year-old shortstop, having a great season so far with the Houston Astros. Just got called up a couple months ago. And now I think we are going to grab Lance McCullers here, 21-year-old starting pitcher. And with this series, guys, let me know if there's any players you want to see, and I'll do my best to trade for them. And, I like you guys to have a lot of say in, what players I get, who's going to be on the team, since you guys are the ones that watch the videos. So yeah, just let me know. I think we're going to go here and grab Addison Russell. We're going for a really young team. We might not win right off the bat, but in 1 or 2 years, we're going to have a really solid squad. And round 9 is where all the relief pitchers are going to go. So I want to jump in there first and grab Wade Davis. And as you can see here, round 9 starts and all the top relievers are going. So I wanted to get Wade Davis in there because he is a really good bullpen guy. And we'll take a look through here. We do need a center fielder still. We do need a left fielder and a first baseman. So first base, I'm going to grab Brandon Belt. He's a 26-year-old first baseman out of San Francisco. Provides some decent defense and some good pop. Take a look, because we're going to be able to get a lot of younger starting pitchers, and we're going to be able to do some trades to get some better starters. So I'm not super worried about that. Not sure about Joey Gallo. He is an A potential, but his contact is 53 against righties and 45 against lefties. So I don't really want to do that. But we have this guy right here, Juan Lagares, 90 fielding, you know, decent contact numbers. I think we're going to grab him. And one thing about this fantasy draft franchise is I want to get players that I haven't really played a lot with. And, you know, Juan Lagares fits the bill right there. I am going to grab Joey Gallo just because of his A potential when he's very young. So we can definitely do something with him. Jump back here. We do need a catcher, but I am going to wait another round or two. I have somebody in mind that we don't have to take right now. Starting pitchers, I want to, you know, these guys up here are pretty good, but I do want to stay away from the guys in, you know, the 30s and 40s. Chris Heston having a really good year for the Giants. He is a rookie, but the steep potential is scaring me off because we can go just a little more down. You know, find guys like Kevin Gausman, who I think we're going to take. He's a guy that can definitely be ready to start on our team. Look here, we are going to have to address the bullpen. I really don't draft a lot of bullpen guys because when you trade in a fantasy draft, you can generally get them thrown into almost any deal. So we'll take another look. We'll go back down through the starting pitchers. See if there's any young guys you want to grab. Matt Moore, coming off Tommy John, but he is a, you know, hard-throwing lefty. Only 25 years old, so that's someone we'll look at. The further we get down, you know, guys like Carlos Rodon, excuse me. And, you know, Julio Urias, Eduardo Rodriguez. So we're not going to address those guys right at the moment. We're going to try to look and see if we can get anybody else to beef up our positions. And we're going to grab Corey Seager here. He's a 20-year-old shortstop prospect with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And he has an A potential, so that's somebody I want to grab. I don't know if you guys just saw, but Matt Moore was just drafted. That was going to be my next pick. So I think I will go down and grab Marcus Stroman from the Toronto Blue Jays. I think he'll fit in with what we're trying to do. And for my next pick, I'm going to go to catcher. And I really want Kyle Schwarber for the Cubs. I think he's hit 8 or 9 home runs since his call-up, and he's just playing, you know, out of this world. So that's somebody I really want to play with. So I'm going to grab him maybe a little early, but I don't want him to be gone. So we go down here. Nick Castellanos would be a good pickup here. B potential, 23-year-old third baseman from Detroit. I think we will grab him. And I have somebody in mind for my next pick. I hope they don't get taken. I'm going to grab Byron Buxton, center fielder for the Minnesota Twins. He's been playing okay since his call-up. You know, I really like where baseball's at right now. You know, we're seeing a lot of really, really young guys do a lot of good things. And, you know, I was just watching SportsCenter last night. Bryce Harper hit his 30th home run of the year, you know, in the middle of August. And, you know, he's 22 years old. I mean, I feel young, and I'm 23, and it's just weird to think that there's like 3 or 4 guys in the majors right now that are younger than me that are, you know, setting the world on fire. So that's pretty cool to see where we're at right now. You know, a lot of guys that were huge stars when I grew up are starting to retire. Like, it hit me last year when Derek Jeter retired, because Derek Jeter, I mean, I started following baseball really closely when I was about 9 or 10. So at that point, Derek Jeter was already, you know, 5 or 6 years in the league and already had a couple World Series titles. So it's really weird to see some of these guys start to retire. But I am really excited for where the game is headed. So enough of that. We're going to get back into this. I'm going to grab Justin Bour, power hitting first baseman from the Miami Marlins. And like I said, if there's any guys you want to see, let me know and we'll try to get somebody going for you. We'll grab Jamison Tyon here. He's only 23, as an A potential. I'm really curious to see what he could do for the Pirates, but it just seems like the guy can't stay healthy, and that's really scary for the future. But the Pirates have some good young pitchers that really need to get up into the majors, because they are having some problems with their starting pitching. As we're going to grab Michael Conforto here for the New York Mets. They called him up a couple weeks ago, and he has been doing pretty well from what I understand. go down here. Yon Mercado, a guy that's probably not going to get called up right away, but we are going to grab him because he does have a B potential, and that's somebody we could definitely use in our system to develop, or we could trade him for somebody else. So we'll go through a little bit more, and I won't, you know, keep you guys around for, you know, 35 minutes of just, you know, fantasy draft. So I will make a couple more picks, and then I will end the video and finish the draft myself. And then we're going to get into some trading and some gameplay pretty soon. We'll take Manny Banuelos. I remember when they were hyping him up like crazy in like 2011 when he was coming up with the Yankees. And then he had Tommy John surgery. But it's good to see him actually doing okay for the Atlanta Braves. We are going to grab Blake Swihart here. You know, catchers with A potential. I already, you know, missed Austin Hedges from the Padres, so I didn't want to miss Swihart. And, you know, one thing, if you guys have fantasy drafts, the one thing I always do is, you know, draft young players with good potentials, like Manuel Margot, center field prospect for the Red Sox. You know, he could play center, left, and right. He's 19 years old and he has a B potential, so that's sort of a no-brainer there. And if you guys, you could either build a powerhouse and just trade all your young guys, and you could basically get anybody you want if you know how to trade right. And if you guys want me to, I will make a video about that and just show you guys how to wheel and deal and, you know, really stack your team. Because it was about a month or two ago, I was playing, just messing around, and I got every top-rated player at like my whole lineup, and all 5 of my starting pitchers were the players in the game for that position. And it really wasn't that difficult. You just have to draft a lot of young guys, a lot of guys with, you know, low age and high potential, and just, you know, make a bunch of trades. It really doesn't take that long. So if you guys are interested in something like that, I can do that. If that's something you want me to do with this series, I do want to play with some younger guys. But if you guys want me to stack this team, I can do that too. Just let me know what we're thinking. So I'm going to drop it here with the Hunter Harvey selection, the Baltimore Orioles prospect. And, you know, we're going to end it with round 30 here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Check back for the next video coming very soon. I'm off today. This is Saturday. I'm off Saturday, Sunday, Monday from work. So I'm going to try to get a ton of videos knocked out and ready to throw up. So I don't know how long I'm going to wait to see comments, to see who you guys want. But what's good about fantasy is we can always, you know, take more players and switch the lineup up pretty much anytime we want to. So that's going to be it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and this is